Good evening, everyone. We're going to get going here. I want to start by welcoming you to Gilliland High School and for our 8th grade Parents' Night. I am Mike Piscatelli, the high school principal. I'm going to do some introductions in a moment. The purpose of this night is to just give you some glimpses of some of the decisions that you're going to be encountering over the next year and some of the transitional activities that are going to lead up to 9th grade to help your student acclimate to the high school. But let me start by recognizing some of our presenters tonight and some of the people who are going to be helping your children this year. I'm going to start with our FMS counseling staff, Ms. Danielle Heigl. Yes. Chris LaBattaglia. Ms. Jager is not with us tonight, but let me turn to our GHS counselors, Ms. Lynn Baumgartner, Ms. Candace Galarno, Ms. Ashley Kaplan, Ms. Amy Knapp, Ms. Jennifer Lunetta, and Ms. Karen Murphy. And some of the people who are going to talk specifically about the programs tonight are here with us as well. I'll start with Mr. David Austin, who's our Director of Physical Education, Health, and Athletics. Ms. Mackenzie Bollinger, who is our Instructional Administrator for Math, Science, and Technology. Dr. Shannon Elliott, who is our Instructional Administrator for Art, Business, and Facts. And lastly, Dr. Alex Finzel, who's our Instructional Administrator for English, Social Studies, Reading, Library, and on and on and on. So, okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Heigl, and we're going to start with some of the stuff you're going to do this year at FMS. Okay. And if you need help, just shout out.
Okay. Thanks. Good evening. Thank you for coming tonight. At FMS, we're super excited to start the process with your students, preparing them for 9th grade. It's a pretty exciting time. So currently, we are in the classrooms over the next 2 weeks giving your students a presentation all about the high school. They're going to learn about classes, they will learn about the credits that they need, and kind of the difference between middle school and high school. After that time, your students and you, of course, have an opportunity to ask us questions. We will meet with students as needed if they have specific questions about classes, about their schedule. February 7th is when we are going to have a Google form. They're going to have the Google form after the presentations, but that's when it's due to us. So you have until that time to look over the course curriculum, talk about some classes, ask some questions, and get some information. Something new that we're doing this year is on February 5th, we are having at Farnsworth a parent drop-in night from 4 to 7, where the middle school counselors and the high school counselors are going to be present. And it's for like last minute questions, or if there are some things that you just need to gain more of an understanding about, we will be there so you can have an in-person meeting with us. After the February break is when you are going to be able to see through eSchool what your students are actually recommended for. There's going to be a tab that says course request, and you click right on that and you will see what they're recommended for. And again, that'll be on eSchool. And that is another time where you're going to look over the classes, make sure everything is correct. Sometimes there are mistakes, and if we have to change something, you let your student's counselor know and we make those changes. We have to have changes, everything done in eSchool by March 7th. So some transition activities that we are doing. Hopefully this week everyone through email received the parent handbook that we sent out. If you did not receive that, please let us know, and your school counselor will make sure that you receive that. There's going to be a high school visit. So all of the 8th graders in April, they come up to the high school where they have a tour, and the high school puts on an awesome activities for them to do and presentations all about the high school. Over the summer, there's also building tours. So after you receive your schedule, your student will receive their schedule in August. They can come at the end of August for tours so they can see where their classrooms are and feel a little more comfortable. And then there's an orientation in the fall, and that's usually the day before school starts. Please visit the websites. That's where you will see the updated information, when the tours are, and you will also have this presentation will be on the websites, as well as the counselors, the presentation that we're doing in the classrooms, we have posted on our website through Farnsworth. As we go through the process of course selection, just one thing that we like to be transparent about is that when your student is requesting a course, it does not guarantee placement. There are some classes that you're going to hear more about tonight that are lotteried, and also upperclassmen have the higher hand when it comes to classes, so sometimes the freshmen have to wait their turn. Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you throughout the year. And now, Karen Murphy.
I don't know if anybody saw the date up there, 2029, when your children graduate, so that's a little interesting, hard to think about. When I look at this slide, supporting the ninth grade student, you could just say supporting students, because really all of these bullet points up there really apply to all students, but specifically, talking tonight for ninth graders coming in, we talk about those transitions into middle school. Now we're doing that big transition into high school. And so you know your child best. You know what kind of a student they are. You see their work habits right now. Some parents have to be a little bit more involved with their children when it comes to school and, did you do your homework, monitoring eSchool data, Google Classroom, the things that, we work on here at school every week, every day, and we find that, some students just need that additional adult supervision at home and, helping them manage that. Some of your kids kind of handle it themselves, and that's great if they do that. And it's okay for those kids who still need a little bit more management, because it's a learning process. Not every student comes into ninth grade with the same skill set in terms of organization and trying to figure out when to turn things in or how to ask questions or all those kinds of skills that we naturally have as adults and older students have come to learn. So it's a process. So all of those bullet points up there, handing in homework on time, connecting with teachers after school, those are really important skills that we want students to do now in 8th grade, practice them, and then continue them on into high school. That's going to make them really successful. Another area for success is attendance, and I know it's not a bullet point up there, but I just wanted to make a quick mention about that. When students are absent, and of course if someone is sick, we don't want them coming to school, but sometimes there's, oh, I can miss this day. It's not an important day. Sometimes we hear those kinds of excuses. That instructional learning cannot be replaced anywhere except for in the classroom. And so when a student is absent, they're sick, we understand we want them to stay home, but what is very helpful is if they contact their teacher by email, hey, I'm homesick today, is there anything I can work on at home, if they're able to. Sometimes some kids are real sick that they can't do that. But if they can, we'd love them for them to do that, make those connections, get used to that communication. So that email communication is really important. The other thing that we want you to, you're probably already doing, but is continue to monitor that social media, the phone use. Sometimes we know it's a distraction here at school at times. It's a distraction at home. Sometimes I have to remove the phone from my son's desk because, he's working on math and then the phone is constantly buzzing, so it's got to go in the other room. So those are just things that, that we do already and that you're going to continue continue to do, it still happens in high school too. So just kind of be aware of that. Friendships change from middle school to high school. Some stay the same, some do change, and that happens. Sometimes it's a natural change. Other times it's just new friend groups that are created here, and kids get more comfortable with others. So that, it's just something to be aware of, and welcome those new friends, but also you want to get to know them. Make sure they're those positive influences in your child's life, and of course, we know students make mistakes. If you're going to make a mistake, we want it to happen before you leave high school. But we don't want mistakes to happen, but if they do, that's okay. They can be worked on. We can work with students and parents and get that student back into, all right, I learned from my mess up. How do I move forward? What can I do better the next time? And if I am thinking about something and I'm not sure, who can I go talk to to make sure my choice is okay? So we want to encourage that. Okay. Oh, left. Right. So this is a quick chart that I don't want you to worry about. Sometimes we see numbers and charts and credits and all of that, and it looks like it can be overwhelming. Each of you will have a high school counselor, just like you have a middle school counselor. We stay with the same families throughout the 4 years, so we really get to know you and your student quite well. We get them to graduation, and so this chart really represents the New York State requirements for credits for courses. It could change, but probably not. It hasn't changed in a long time. So these are not all things that have to be done in 9th grade. It's over the 4 years. So, most of our students are very successful, and in 9th grade, and then again in 11th grade, we sit down with every freshman and every junior student with their parents, and we make plans, at those times. And then for grade 10, we meet with every 10th grader to choose courses for next year, and we also, just as a shoring up for college and career, and with 10th graders as well. So those are plans. Basically, every year we meet with every student. And then seniors, of course, we get them ready to leave high school with what their plans may be. So those credits will lead to a diploma, and these are the two main traditional pathways for diploma types. So again, we don't have to worry about it in grade 9, but we're gonna start a plan, and we're gonna help students work through those courses and meeting those requirements. So, and we keep track of that. Every student has an individualized plan with their counselor, and we kind of work through their plan and their courses and what they wish to achieve in preparation for leaving high school. This is a very nice, just a visual of those credits and the main two options for diploma type. And what else is nice is that we have courses that kind of combine in sequences or pathways that students can choose to take. They're not requirements, but they're options. And the other nice feature that students can do for specialized learning and outcomes is through the different seals of enhancement. And those are things that students may earn throughout high school, which will be added on to their high school diploma. And again, these are not requirements, but these are nice options for students who wish to pursue that, and they would do that with their teachers and specialized courses that they would take throughout high school. And they do that and work towards their senior year when it culminates. Okay, I think I'm going to introduce Mr. Austin, right? Sports.
Thank you. Oops, I skipped. Yeah.
I got it.
Thanks. Good evening. Again, my name's Dave Austin, Director of Physical Education, Health, and Athletics here at Gilderland, so go Dutch. Just want to make some quick points about phys ed and health before I jump into athletics. As far as physical education requirements, students are required 2 credits for physical education for graduation. So a full year of PE is a half credit. So basically, 2 credits. You're going to get a full year for 4 years, going to get you 2 credits. We do separate physical education here at the high school by grade level. So general PE is separated by 9th and 10th grade. So 9th and 10th grade are together for physical education, and then 11th and 12th graders are together for physical education as they get older into high school, which not every school does that. I think there's many benefits to doing that, just age-wise, developmental-wise. It's just, I think it's good to keep kids together that are like age for physical education. So that's general PE at the high school. And although I think, we offer an outstanding high school phys ed program, one which, have our teachers offer a variety of activities, a lot of student choice. We also recognize that high school physical education is not everyone's favorite class. So we get that. So in response to that, we are starting to expand kind of our menu of options for students to get their PE credit at the high school. So for example, 9th graders, they are actually eligible to enroll in electives called choreography of dance and or dance styles. So each elective is a semester course. So if students actually enroll in both electives for the full year, that actually could count for their phys ed credit for 9th grade or their arts credit, not both. They would have to kind of make that choice with their counselor. But that's kind of one way, a 9th grade student can get their phys ed credit without taking 9th, 10th PE. And then when they get to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, they get more options for phys ed credit. In addition to enrolling in the electives I just described, choreography of dance and dance styles, 10th through 12th graders may choose to enroll in Strength and Conditioning 1, which is Introduction to Strength and Conditioning, and Strength and Conditioning 2 with a prerequisite. Obviously, students must complete Intro to Strength and Conditioning before they're eligible for Strength and Conditioning 2. Each elective is a semester class that meets every other day with Gary Bowl, who's our high school phys ed teacher and strength and conditioning coach in the weight room. If a student takes Strength and Conditioning 1 in semester 1 and Strength and Conditioning 2 in semester 2, that would actually count for their PE credit for the year. So in that scenario, if they didn't want to, they would not have to be enrolled in general PE as well, if they were, again, in both electives for the full year. Okay? And we're excited. It's not just, we're finding it's growing, but we're also finding that that elective is not just for athletes, although certainly our athletes do take advantage of that. But there's plenty of future careers in that field. So we're finding a wide range of students want to take that class, and for that reason, there's many, many great opportunities in that field. Other options for phys ed, we do offer what's called unified physical education. And that's 10th, 11th, and 12th graders are eligible, and they must have a teacher recommendation from one of our phys ed teachers. But this is an inclusive phys ed class that unites student athletes who are individuals with intellectual disabilities and partners, individuals without intellectual disabilities, to explore a wide range of activities. It's just a unique opportunity for students of varying ability levels to learn together on equal terms through fitness, sports, leadership, and wellness activities. Without a doubt, it's one of the best programs I think that we offer here, unified physical education and unified sports, which I'll talk about momentarily. Again, we expanded our options, like I said, for phys ed credit. If a student decides to take one of the electives that I just described for PE credit for just one of the semesters, they will be required to be enrolled in a general PE class for the other semester in order to get that credit, and your child's counselor can help them with that scheduling piece for that, so fitting that into their schedule. In regards to health, only required to take that once. Generally, it's 10th, 11th, and 12th graders in that class, mostly 10th and 11th graders. Occasionally, we do have some requests from 9th grade and 12th grade, but my recommendation is to hold off until 10th or 11th grade. your child does get health education in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I think it's nice, our only opportunity to give them health education in the high school. I think it's nice to kind of wait for that 10th and 11th grade year personally. But again, we will navigate through some scheduling requests if we need to. As far as athletics, chances are your child's already participated in one of our athletic programs. I looked at the numbers. We had over 1,100 students last year participate in at least one sport in 7th through 12th grade. So that actually equates to 50% of our student population. 50%, that is a large number. 50% of our student population participated in at least one sport. 25% of our student population participated in at least 2 sports. So it's a program that impacts a lot of students. And I will say, as your child gets into high school, you know, the options that they have available to them in athletics expands from those options that they had in 7th and 8th grade. And I'll kind of walk through that here, starting with our fall season. Some options for our athletes, where we have cross country, boys and girls, game day cheer, field hockey, football, boys and girls golf, boys and girls soccer, girls swimming and diving, girls tennis, boys and girls volleyball, and unified bocce are our fall athletic offerings. Moving to the winter, which is where our current season is, we offer boys and girls basketball, competitive cheer, bowling, gymnastics, boys and girls wrestling, unified bowling, ice hockey, boys and girls cross-country skiing, boys and girls indoor track, boys swimming and diving, and last but not least, in the spring, we offer baseball, softball, boys and girls lacrosse, esports, a video game team, boys and girls track and field, boys tennis, girls flag football will be offered for the first time at Guilderland this spring, and unified basketball. So if there's a school in Section 2 that has as many offerings as we do, I'd like to see that. I don't think there is. We offer almost everything we possibly can here. So that's the good news. There's plenty of options for students who wish to participate in athletics. How do we sign up for sports? You've probably already gotten those emails from me, you know, kind of walking you through the step-by-step process of getting enrolled in a sport. But essentially, I will send out a Google sign-up form to all 7th through 12th grade students shortly before each season. That just kind of creates like these unofficial sign-up lists for our coaches. It's not the official way to sign up for a sport. You can't just sign up on the Google form and say, I'm done. That's not how it works. But it's a good way to give our coaches kind of a heads up of potential interested athletes in that sport. So I'll share that with the kids shortly before the start of the sports season. And then inside a month from the start of the season, we require 3 things to be eligible for sports: the athletic form, the health history update, and a valid physical on file in the nurse's office. Those forms are all available online, or there's packets, hard copy packets outside of our high school nurse's office. We do require new athletic form, new health history form prior to each season that your child participates in. So it's not like you fill it out once in the fall and you're good for the winter, spring. You have to do new forms for each season. Things change, there could be an injury, there could be a change in medication, so we kind of need to have updated forms each season. So that's kind of how we sign up for sports. A couple other things I just want to touch on quickly before passing it off here is just a couple things. You know, you've already heard some of the counselors talking about attendance and how attendance really is so important. And in the athletics, it's something that we check. We check every day. Once we get our rosters submitted by our coaches, you know, we are able to run daily attendance reports of student athletes. So we know if one of our athletes are coming to school late, we know. And we share that with our coaches. So we have a code of conduct, and in our code of conduct kind of states a list of expectations and responsibilities of an athlete. But, you know, one of those is, you know, to be eligible to play, you got to be in school. All right, so we do check that. Attendance matters. And as far as the code of conduct, which, you know, it's available online on our website, you know, student athletes are essentially expected to conduct themselves in a manner in which reflects positively on themselves, you guys, us, our school, and our community. So, participation in athletics here is a privilege afforded to every 7th through 12th grader. But it is a privilege, it's not a requirement. So we're very big on making sure our student athletes are students first. They're taking care of all their responsibilities first before athletics. And if they don't, that's really kind of when we run into the issues where, the privilege may be removed for a short time, if they are failing to meet those expectations. So, so that's all. I do have one more slide quick, just about collegiate athletics. If you have a child that has aspirations to play at the next level, Division I or Division II, which I hope there's a bunch in here. That would be great for our program. So I'm rooting for everybody. But my advice is speak with your high school counselor when they get into 9th grade here. So, because you're going to want to make sure you're registered with an NCAA eligibility center, make sure you're taking the right classes, which your counselor can help you with, obviously, and make sure they're earning the best grades that they possibly can. There's no special Division I or Division II class that your child would have to enroll in here. It's just making sure they're in school, they're doing their best in their classes, and they're taking the required courses that they need to take to be eligible for NCAA athletics. So, so again, that's all. Before I turn it over, go Dutch, all right? And this is Dr. Shannon Elliott, our instructional administrator for art, business, and facts. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Austin, and may your team win. I think it's Notre Dame. Okay. All right. Oh, I don't have anything here. Okay. So your child will need to complete a fine arts requirement, and they have several options. It can be in visual arts, and we have 3 courses that are the foundation courses that will meet that, and they're right up there, or in music. And one thing to know about music is that the ensemble is a half a credit, so they'll need to do 2 years. There's also dance and theater and DDP in tech ed. Okay, all right. No, I didn't play college. Well, no, I did. I played tennis. Oh, and that's what I said about ensembles, but those are the choices for 9th grade. And Mr. Winans knows that I'm presenting his slide, and he said, everyone can read it. Let's see. No.
Why is it going back?
I don't know. I didn't do it.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, I know what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would say keep reading. I don't have that much to offer here, except the music program is terrific. I just wanted to let you know, in art, we have both traditional and digital art making, and many choices. And there you can see some of our choices. Can your child take art and music? The answer is yes, but they have to make sure that they work it out. And that's where talking to your counselor, talking to one of your teachers is very, very helpful. So it can happen. And I also am the instructional administrator for business. And in business, what we recommend is that students take Career and Money as the first course, the foundation, and that can lead to a series of electives. Also, I didn't mention it earlier with art and music, but there is a visual arts pathway. And if you're not sure what the pathway is, please stop into the cafeteria on your way out tonight, and we can tell you everything you need to know about the pathway. Essentially a sequence of courses that students can take. Our pathway in business is called business management. And I did it. I'd like to introduce Mackenzie Bullinger, our instructional administrator for math, science, and technology. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here. I'm new to the district, so welcome all of you as you have 8th graders coming up to the high school. I'm really looking forward to work with all of your students, so hopefully they'll be able to come over to the Math, Science, and Technology office, introduce themselves, and get to know me and our faculty. For Math, Science, if they are an 8th grader, that is going into either math or science. From 8th grade science, they would take biology, and from 8th grade math, they would take algebra. So those are really the two options that they would have. If they are accelerated, they're in either living or biology now, or if they are in algebra, they would either be taking Earth and Space or Earth and Space honors. So that would be the science pathway, or if they are in algebra currently in math, they would be taking geometry or geometry honors. So those would be the two different pathways that they would be taking in math and science. I'm going to have trouble with this too. As a 9th grader, depending upon their schedule, they also have some options in our computer sciences. So again, as for if they're in algebra, if they are currently an accelerated student, they can take the computer science principles. Again, that prereq has to be in the honors program currently is algebra. We also have a game design elective that they can be able to take as a 9th grade student. If they're not an accelerated student, these options are available to them as 10th grade students. Again, we also have other options currently within our computer science programming as they continue on within the high school curriculum. Our honors classes, so as an honors student, again, students have the option as they go throughout our math and science curriculum to be able to go within the honors curriculum. So what is an honors student? It really is an enrichment. It goes more in-depth. They're still getting a Regents diploma, but they're also going more in-depth into the curriculum. The other things is really they're looking at more abstract concepts within the curriculum, as well as the students, we really ask them to advocate for themselves, to really ask the teachers for additional support. There might not be as much the teacher going and reaching out to them. The student is more of the self-advocacy. They are more self-reliant on finding out the answers themselves. So really the onus is more on the student to be able to be providing the answers for themselves. That does not mean that the teacher is not there to provide support and ensure academic success. It's just really asking for the student to advocate and be there for their own learning process. Oh, I'm going in the wrong. Additionally, we have technology classes. We have two different pathways within our technology program. We have one that is more of an engineering pathway, and we have one that is more a traditional technology pathway, a trades pathway more. They both fulfilled the arts requirement for graduation. One is Project Lead the Way, and one is our own internal pathway. So the students can be able to sign up for those as well. And now I would like to introduce Alex.
Evening, everyone. I'll try to be really quick because it is 7 o'clock and it's cold out and it's Thursday. So we're going to be talking about three things real quick: English, social studies, and reading. So everyone who's coming into 9th grade is going to be going into English 9. It'll either be Regents or honors or potentially aligned, and I'll talk about that honors component here in a little bit. The four main focus areas in English over 4 years focus on reading, writing, language, and speaking and listening. Some things that I think it's important for everyone to be aware of is that we've been, since COVID and trying to help kids be successful, in the future, we recognize like people got to talk to one another. People got to work with each other. People have to collaborate. And something that we notice is that a lot of kids might be really good independently. They can think by themselves and they can express themselves well in writing. So one of the things that we work really hard to do here at the high school, especially in English, is to get kids to talk, to get kids to work with each other, to get kids to work in groups. And that's a hard thing for some students, right? Kind of along that nature too is like we want group collaboration, but we do not want group plagiarism. And we're trying to help kids navigate what is the effective ways to help support one another while also giving credit to one another and having one's own work reflect their own work. 4 years of English here. We've got a lot of college credit-bearing English classes that kids can take starting in 11th grade. In 11th grade, after 3 years of English, we have the English Regents exam, and that's English. You lied.
You hit the right side.
The right side?
No, you hit the left side. No, sorry. You gotta go here next year.
I'll do this.
Yeah, you can do that too.
All right, so I'm going to go hop to social studies, and I'm going to go back to reading. Because like English, students also need 4 years of social studies. All students going into 9th grade will start out in Global 9. It's Regents, Honors, and Align. And again, little footnote there, I'm going to go to that honors topic here in a few moments. After completing a course study in 9th grade, that's kind of like the Neolithic Revolution, Stone Age, up to the Age of Exploration. Kids will continue that in 10th grade, starting with the Enlightenment and kind of going to the present. In 11th grade, we switch gears and focus on U.S. history. At the conclusion of 10 and 11, you have a specific Regents exam in each of those areas. Something that's really, really important, and I have to stress this, and I've been saying this for 10 years, is that the old kind of social studies prepared you to be successful on Jeopardy. Like, I'll take 1865 for 200. Names, dates, and places. The current social studies is about why is this relevant? What does this do for me now? If I analyze the Emancipation Proclamation now, what skills could I therefore employ if I turn on the TV and I'm analyzing a source that's being read over on Fox News, MSNBC, or wherever? So there's a lot of skills, and a lot of those skills, strangely, come from English. So where we can together as a department, we do a lot of cross-curricular English and social studies overlap. On that note, we also have a program called Aligned. If your student is interested in that, they can request that. We have limited spots available, and we try to do our best to make a more concerted effort to have a little bit more social studies in English and a little bit more of English in social studies. But as a whole, we are doing an interdisciplinary focus across the board. Like English, there's a lot of new college credit aligned courses that kids can take starting in 10th grade for Schenectady College level global history. We have some new courses too that we're trying to get on the books. There's a new course, Teacher Corps, where kids could take as a junior or senior, and they learn how to be good citizens through the vehicle of teaching kids in our community. And kids who participate in that program, along with a couple other things, could also potentially get the Civic Seal of Readiness, because I know you kind of saw that real quick earlier on. Before I go to the last thing on reading, honors. Next week, kids who signed up will start to take that first English honors performance test. The following week is the social studies one. How we do this is that we look at a kid's grade, we look at a kid's self-assessment, we look at a teacher's standards-based assessment of skills, and then we look at a standards-based assessment of skills in those performance tests. We take a combination of it, and then we sort of put it all together, and that's how we use to inform decisions. It's not perfect. If there's an issue, I would strongly encourage you to please reach out to me or Mr. Dumar. Like, if we need to, we have iReady, we have some state performance, and nothing is perfect, right? If your student is a rock star and has a bad day, like we've had situations where Tommy got dumped by Susie and had a bad day, and we take a look at all the stuff. There's flexibility to make sure that every student puts their best foot forward and has an equal opportunity to shine. So if you got any questions about that, come see me in the cafeteria. And then lastly is our lovely reading program. One thing I quickly learned here is that English is not about reading, although a lot of reading occurs in English. Reading is its own skill. English is about, oh, look, there's conflict, and that's plot. But reading is, do I understand the words that are on paper and the meaning that is supposed to be expressed? Your child might have a lack of confidence. Your child might need some skill development. And we offer literacy tutorial, which is offered pretty much every block for a half year or the whole year. And so every year we have a lot of kids who come in there because, they may be shy in class and may not want to, like I said, that talking part, they may not want to share what they're thinking. And here we have a small group setting that works with teachers and TAs. We're talking about 7, 8 kids at most. And this is a great opportunity for kids to safely skill build their literacy skills that they can take into the regular classroom. And our reading teachers are embedded in both our English and social studies. So whatever is being engaged with in the reading room is 100% relevant to what's going on in their English and social studies classroom. So if you have any more questions on this, you feel free to ask when we're in the cafeteria. Do we got cookies in there? No. On that note, I'd like to reintroduce Mr. Piscatelli back to the microphone.
That was a real buzzkill. Thank you for that. Listen, at this point, I'm going to ask the counselors and instructional administrators to head to the large caf because I'm going to wrap this up with you guys, and then we'll let you go. One of our instructional administrators, Ms. Lauren Anderson, is in charge of our world language program and our ENL program. She couldn't be with us tonight, but I'm going to try my best to convey some of the information she wanted me to convey. The first thing, and she really wanted to make this as important as possible, is the Checkpoint A exam. The Checkpoint A is a graduation requirement from New York State. You have to pass the Checkpoint A or have a level 1 language course credit in order to meet the diploma requirements. The Checkpoint A exam is given in 8th grade on Monday, June 23rd. It's really important that your child takes that test and performs as well as they can, because once they pass that test, they have met the graduation requirement. If for some reason they don't, then they have to pass a level 1 language class in the high school. So I just wanted to reinforce that. If you look at our language program, we basically have 4 languages at the high school. We have sign language, Spanish, French, and Italian. Now, one of the caveats I got to say about sign language is we do offer 3 levels of sign language, ASL 1, 2, and 3. But we say up front, don't count on that for your Checkpoint B graduation requirement. And the reason I say that is our numbers fluctuate from time to time, and sometimes we are not able to offer all 3 levels of that class. So it's really, you almost got to view American Sign Language as an elective area for a language. But again, getting into the Checkpoint B, the Checkpoint B is a requirement for the Advanced Regents Diploma. So usually students take that in their junior year. We just wanted to give you a quick little glimpse of a typical GHS schedule for a 9th grader. So we are a block schedule, meaning that we have 4 classes a day. Each class is 84 minutes. Most of our classes meet every other day. So if you're in math, English, social studies, you'll meet every day. The only exception to that is science. Science meets 3 out of every 4 days. And the 4th day, we usually do our PE schedule. It's not always that, but it's usually that, where PE is the 4th day. And you can see from this, we have a daily homeroom. It's a 15-minute homeroom every day, where it gives the students just a little bit of time to get some work done. We do some programs during homeroom. We'll sometimes do building activities. It's a time for the students to learn about our clubs. We do a lot of things with clubs during that. We do program activities through our Sources of Strength program, which is one of our community building activities that we do throughout the school year. As you can see too, like this lunch is our third block, so lunch doesn't start till 10:57. If you have a mod 1 lunch, you've got an early lunch. It starts at 11 o'clock. If you have a mod 4 lunch, it's more closer to 12:30 that you have lunch. So it's good to talk to your student and have a snack or something ready so they can make it through the day depending on how their schedule is. So. We have after school, just like the middle school, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Our after school goes from 2:30 till 3:10. And on Wednesdays is our meeting day, and Fridays there is no after school. I actually threw this slide in to go back to that slide that we were talking about supporting the ninth grade student or supporting a ninth grader. You know, at the beginning of the year, we do class assemblies. And with the ninth graders, it's usually a little bit longer of an assembly. And one of the things that I try to stress with the students, especially our new students to the building, is passing high school is not as hard as they think it is. But there are some core things that you have to do. And the students who are not successful here are because of these items right there, and especially the first one. Attendance at high school. If you don't come to high school on a regular basis, you are not going to be successful. It is just a fact. And most of the students who are failing classes at this building right now, and I have quite a few right now, is because they don't come to school. They don't come to school on a regular basis, or they come to school late on a regular basis. If either of those two behaviors occur, you're not going to be successful here, no matter what we do. So it really is important to stress coming to school every day at school. Remember, block scheduling. We're block scheduling. That means every day is like 2 classes. So if you miss one day, you're trying to make up 2 classes the next time you meet with your teacher. Now, again, with Google Classroom, we have taken advances where it's easier to see what the teacher is doing, but it's not an exemption from being there in class. So I just wanted to reinforce that. The other thing is just staying on top of your work and doing the work that the teachers are asking you to do. If the students are doing their homework and showing up every day, it is very difficult to fail their classes. Again, the teachers are there, they are watching it, they're there to support the students, and the students who are showing up, doing the work, they're being successful. The last thing is they just also can't be afraid to ask for help. You know, again, I was a math teacher prior to becoming an administrator. And, you know, again, as a math teacher, I can tell you, if you are struggling in math, the best thing you can do is come and see your teacher after school and get that extra support. But the other thing I wanted to talk about with the students, though, is that it's, like I said, it's not that hard to pass the course if you're putting the effort into it. So I just really wanted to stress those points. Okay, so what we're going to do now is in the large cafeteria, we have tables broken out by the content areas. A lot of times in these presentations, we didn't answer a question that is specific, that you specifically wanted. So we wanted to give you the opportunity to have a one-to-one conversation with the counselors or the instructional administrators. So at this point, if you want to get up, we can go to the large cafeteria. If you're not interested in asking any individual questions, we are done for tonight, and I appreciate you coming. Thank you.